listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Break for 30 seconds.
You are now listening to BaaD Radio.
Hello and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are here in the News Radio WFLA Orlando studios from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Sunday. I am your host, Angela Smarito, and in studio with me we have Melissa Jacob with Striking Brand.
Hello, hello.
Hello. She is our co-host and our videographer. If you go to baadradio.com, that's BAAD radio.com, you can see all of the previous episodes of the show. And if you go to strikingbrand.com, you can see all of Melissa's other work because she is a photographer as well as a videographer.
Mm-hmm.
So we are very excited to have Mike Hayman with Liberty Property Inspections back in studio. Yay. We're doing our own sound effects today. we have a stand-in producer. Everybody welcome Ken. That's all right. He doesn't have his mic on. There he is. He's waving. So Mike, what has been up? I meant, when was the last time you were on the show? It was last year.
Yeah, it was last year since it's going so fast now. The older I get.
No.
Well, we're already in March. Like
Halfway
Q1
through.
is already almost over.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Thanks
think about
for
it.
reminding me that.
I know.
On taxes.
That means it's going to be really hot in the attics this season.
Oh gosh, that's right.
No, but last year, and it goes fast. So,
Mhm.
Did I come in after we came back from New Orleans?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Either.
I know it's either before or right after, right in that window. So around September, October.
Okay.
Yeah,
So how's business been since then?
better. This year's starting off pretty good. So we're getting busier. Got a new inspector named Travis.
Nice.
So Travis is out on his own now. Last year, I had my longest serving inspector, Nicole, retired.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica left to go do something else. So me and Oscar stayed around, held the fort down with Danielle, and brought in Travis. And then I have a young lady I'm going to interview next week.
Very
so to
nice.
come on board. So
Very nice.
we always try to have a diverse work and people and on the field and on the phones. So
let's list off all of the things that Liberty Property Inspections does. So you do the house inspections for new.
So we do home inspections for people who are purchasing a home, whether it's new or used,
Mhm.
already existing. We
So,
do listing
Hold on.
inspections for
So
people
when
buying
someone,
one.
when somebody buys a
selling.
home, like when it's a brand new home,
Uh-huh.
like never been lived in before, it
Yep.
still has to get an inspection.
I would.
Yeah, why not?
we
Don't you want to make sure that the builders did it the right way? And
I just
there's
kind of
nothing-
figured that in order that it would have to get inspected before the builder got the ability to sell it. But I
Yeah,
meant,
but
So you have trade inspectors that are employed by counties or cities, whatever municipality. So they're going to come in and inspect the different trades, whether it's framing, roofing,
Right.
site work, electrical, etc. That's those. This is for the buyer so that we can come in and look and make sure everything's good to go. Now, we've
Mhm.
found everything from just a couple of things besides blemishes that they need to come in and do. It's
Mhm.
called punch out, where they fix little holes in the wood,
Mhm.
paint, things
Right.
like that, clean up. But we've also found where people have washed products down drains or poured their lunch down the drains,
Mhm.
which cause backups.
oh,
We've had one down in Reunion, a big house in Reunion, right? And
it was
so
brand new house.
brand new, hasn't even been lived in yet. Did the home inspection, everything's looking pretty good. Just a couple small things that needed to be addressed by the builder, some appliances that needed to be fixed because somebody just shoved them into place.
Mhm.
But the big thing I found using a thermal camera, I found an anomaly on the first floor underneath where an upstairs bathroom would be.
Mhm.
But we don't know if it's a bathroom or if it's something else. The only way to know is
You got a little radar that says danger, danger.
the builder needs to
danger.
check that out, right?
Mhm.
And so the builder was hesitant, finally checked it out, called and was super upset because he said it was just AC, it wasn't a leak. Well, I never said it was a leak. What I said it was an anomaly. It could
Mhm.
be water, it could be AC, but it's colder than the surrounding area.
Right.
So they cut it open. They found an AC junction box.
Mhm.
That's where your ducts tie into a box and go to different rooms, right?
Okay.
Well, no one stuck their head up in there to find out what was going on with that box. So I did, and I
Mhm.
found that one of the duct lines was no longer connected. So it was just
Okay.
blowing cold air on the drywall
Right.
over the master bedroom and then, sucking in anything else into the system that's right there.
Ooh.
So I got a nice apology from the builder. And
Nice.
what he told me was, he's used to other home inspectors coming and telling him how to build a house. And that's not our job. As an inspector, your job is to find things that need to be addressed, not to tell a builder how to build a house.
Right.
They have a whole giant course for that and a gigantic book that's like a 3-day test, and it's called the contractor's exam if you want to do that. So we're an extra set of eyes for the builder and for the buyer.
Right. Okay.
So I find at least 8 things wrong on a new build. And out of
Really?
every 10th house I found, the attic's not insulated.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
crazy.
so-
Why is that intentional? Like they're trying to get.
Most of the time, those guys are really busy, so they're getting pushed on a timeline. And then you've got the superintendent, depending on how many houses they have, depends on how often they can get back and check. And so 9 times out of 10, having worked in construction for a while, when things like that happen, it's a Friday, and everybody's ready to rock and roll. Oh, we'll come hit it Monday, and then they keep moving because somebody else has now come online, and they forget. So last one I had was 2 weeks ago, brand new house down in Poinciana area, about a $500,000 house, $600,000. Everything was insulated except the mother-in-law suite.
Well, it had a mother-in-law suite?
Gigantic area with no insulation in it, but it was marked as insulated.
Oh,
So
wow.
those things.
So
you know.
the answer to my question is absolutely. You should get your
Yes.
house
Right.
inspected even if it's brand new.
Have you ever run across anything where you think that somebody got something approved to code when just kind of let it slide? You know what I mean?
See that sometimes, yes.
Is that a
Depends on the
often thing
county and depends on
where you're like,
who that inspector is.
Do
were
people
they-
have reputations?
There are, just like in the industry.
yeah.
Mhm. So, but
We
I
want
don't
the
come
dirt.
across. I
We
don't
want
come
the
across.
Who lets the stuff slide?
See, I
Let
don't
us
come across
know.
that as much as you think I would, but I can tell you this from working in construction before and that I have seen and been on job sites and seen the inspector for roofing's a big one for the county or for the city, and it's not Orange County, so we're good there. I'll tell you that much. But another surrounding county, the inspector just kind of drove up, looked at it with binoculars, marked
Dang.
out the paper on the box,
You might
and
as
then
well have
left.
just done a Google Earth like
Right,
search.
let me get it on. What is
So-
that?
We're good.
Google Earth. Let's
Yeah.
zoom in on it.
It looks good to me.
I asked the superintendent about that, and he said he has a reputation of that, so he sends his roofers back behind him every time just to
Oh.
make sure that everything's tightened up on the area. Even though they use good subs, that particular builder, and a lot of that comes down to the subs, the supervision. As you know, the beautiful one that is Miss Tina that owns our company. It's my wife. One of
Hi,
her
Tina.
degrees is project management. So she's got 4 construction degrees. You know, one of them being a bachelor's in environmental science. So, but
Mold and
you know,
whatnot.
she got tired of seeing that stuff happen too, and she'd call and hold people accountable, and then they didn't like her very much. And I'm like, you know, just come run this business here, and so then she opened a metaphysical store.
Show
instead.
Tina to hold that up for the camera.
Oh yes,
Hold
it up.
Yay.
or my wife's metaphysical store, or our house, one of the two. These beautiful candelabras brought to you by Angela Samarito. of the
I
Great-
like
was at Goodwill
Yes.
and I saw those, but I had to leave, so I stashed them because I was going to come back for them.
Oh, you did one of those?
I stashed
I've
it,
done
and so I
that
came
before.
back, but I was really sad though because only one of them worked.
We'll
Is
get
it a
fixed.
battery issue? or-
Well, I took out the batteries. I put in like a fresh set of batteries in, and it wouldn't work. So I'm thinking that I figured you guys are handy, so I figured you'd be able to kind of
rewire.
figure
This
something out.
Goodwill.
Yeah, it's going to be just a little small something.
Right. I found 5 Harry Potter wands at the Goodwill at in Winter Park. 5, and they were $5 a piece.
Wow.
And
They
they're
were the-
all organized in your case now, aren't they?
Oh yeah. But here's the thing: is that
That's
they what I found out is I shouldn't tell everybody my secret.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Is that for off air?
Yeah, yeah. I'll say it. So the Goodwill that I was at is the they get the Lost and Found from Universal.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
I'll tell you off the air which one it is.
Good.
'Cause I'm not telling everybody. But yes, I did find those at a Goodwill, and they made me think of you and Tina.
Thank you.
So I brought them. I held on to them. I even went back twice, or I went back once to get them for you.
They are in a great home.
That's how much I love you
Thank you.
guys.
We love you too.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about house inspections a little bit more when we get back. I got derailed. So everybody stay tuned for more BaaD Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Welcome back, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Premier Couples Superstore. Spring is in the air, so it's time for a trip to Premier Couples Superstore. They have got a huge selection of lingerie, shoes, toys, games, love oils, and a ton of great gifts. With Premier Couples Superstore, you don't pay those high prices because you go directly to the source. 5009 South OBT, or shop online at premiercouples.net, because a couple that plays together stays together. Yeah. All right. So we're here with Mike Hayman with Liberty Property Inspections, and I am super happy that I didn't flub up that part of the intro. But you know what made me feel good is I was listening to our sister station over here to Real Radio. I won't say what show, but I was listening to the host talk and like trip over words, and it made me feel a lot better about myself. Because when I trip over words, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. But it happens.
I think it's more natural. It makes it come across more human.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
In this AI world.
No, it's definitely.
You mean better than on today's news we have.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever seen the episode of Saturday Night Live where the two ladies
Yes.
talking on the radio show?
Yes, in a particular episode at Christmas time comes to mind.
With Alec, was it with
Alec
Al Baldwin?
Yep.
Do you know what we're talking about?
No idea.
I'm gonna have to send it to you, but I'm like, please, somebody
Off
shoot
air.
me if I ever sound like that, because it's like they're basically like two housewives talking, and they talk real monotone, and they're like,
oh, no.
"How was your day today,
Oh,
Yeah,
Melissa?"
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
that feels
That's
yucky.
great.
I don't like.
It is a little yucky, but it's funny.
I don't like.
So I did have a question too, because so I've just went through like a whole shenanigans with my homeowner's insurance, and so what I'm coming to find out, and the more people I talk to, is like, so a lot of insurance companies are not writing in the state of Florida anymore, and if they do write, they're expensive and they're hard to get approvals. So how is that affecting your business in regards to, like I said, insurance companies and things of that nature?
For us, it's good for us in that people are needing to update 4 points wind mitigations, which we've talked about before. You know, wind mitigation is good for 5 years. Now, insurance companies are about every 12 months want a 4 point, right? And so,
and tell us again. I don't want to lose that topic, but tell us again what's a 4 point.
The 4 point tells the insurance company the four main components of the home: HVAC, roof, plumbing, electrical.
Did you say that insurance companies want those every year?
Every 12 months, they're starting to ask for them.
They want it
A
set
new
up
one.
every year.
Yep.
Really?
And how much does that cost? It's like $300. I don't know.
No. Standalone for us is $125.
Okay.
That's going to go up in a little bit. I haven't raised prices in years, but we're going to have to do something to keep up just a little bit. But I still try to stay in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And I tell people, don't go by price, go by people that know what they're doing. But the 4 points designed to give the insurance underwriter a snapshot of your home, right? How old are those systems? What are those systems made of? In the world of the roof, how much life is left on the roof?
Roof,
HVAC, which is your
electrical,
AC.
yeah,
Electrical
and plumbing.
and plumbing.
Okay.
So your
So-
main stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why does insurance need that?
So if you're buying a home, they're going to ask you for
Yeah.
that to be putting insurance onto the house, right?
Right.
So they want to know what the risk mitigation is for that purchase.
Right.
If you are already in an existing home like Angela, they want to know what's updated. So I was in the same boat last year. Our insurance company pulled out of the state. So we're left to shop for somebody. No, a different one. Safeport, I think.
Yeah.
And which was fine. And we've had since 2017 all four of those components and systems updated and or replaced. We turned our information into my insurance guy, and I got 3 companies that came back 3 to 4 times higher than the premium I was paying. I went with Citizens for $200 more than I was paying. And
Well,
I'm
that's-
okay with Citizens.
I mean, that's
Citizens
what
is fine.
everybody's kind of going with now, because what happened in our situation is we my insurance expired, so I had to renew, and it was with Florida Peninsula. So we Liberty Property did our inspection, and we needed to replace our electrical box because it was recalled. So we got a letter back from Florida Peninsula that said you have till this date to do these changes, and so it was like $3,000 to replace it, but it's worth. I mean, I have to do it. It's like the safety of my my family and whatnot. But so we got everything done, sent it in, and then they still canceled us.
Well,
They're looking for a reason not to keep things on. So my mother-in-law just went through she had them, and they looked for reasons to get her off
Florida
the books as well.
Peninsula?
Yeah.
Well, I meant they still, after all the hoops and cleaning the pipes and doing all the things and jumping through like all the all the hoops, they still canceled us. And then so now we're with Citizens, which the way I feel about Citizens, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you're on your own. Citizens is the bottom of the barrel that if you have a mortgage, you have to have homeowners insurance.
Right.
And Citizen, it's a state run thing, and so if you're going to have damage to your house, there's a good chance that you're going to be coming out of pocket with Citizens with that. Is that right or wrong?
I haven't seen anybody have that problem.
That's good.
That
With
have had,
Citizens?
yeah, that they have. Now, what I've seen Citizens do for as far as we go, twice now I've gotten letters from them saying, "Hey, we found somebody that will take your policy, and if you like the price, we'll move you on over." And
Really?
they're allowed to charge 20% more, I think, or 25% more, one of those realms, than you're paying now, and they consider that to be acceptable. And if you accept it, great. If not, you can stay with Citizens.
Yeah.
So both times I've stayed with Citizens because it makes no sense for what they're asking. You know.
Right. Well, I did all that, did jump through all those hoops, and my mortgage payment went down $100. And that was it.
Hey, that's better than going up.
This is true.
That's true.
Gotta look at the silver lining in the cloud.
It was a lot. It was a lot of frustration, a lot of letters, and then a lot of phone calls, and a lot of this and a lot of that. And I mean, it's never easy. It's never you pick up the phone, you make a call, you have a conversation with a person. You don't get stuck in some god awful phone system that keeps sending you over in
Right.
circles.
I'm gonna send you back to the
Yeah.
queue. Yeah, hold right there.
Okay, so you're talking about like the 4-point.
Yep. And so that's what a 4-point's designed for, to give them a snapshot of how things are doing, basically. If you're a existing homeowner, if you're a new one, it gives them a risk mitigation. And then same thing with wind mitigation. Wind mitigation just tells them the geometry of the home, the age of the roof, what kind of coverings on a roof.
So the wind is primarily for the roof,
Yeah.
right?
That's correct.
So on those 4-point, the 4-point, if you're not buying a new home and your insurance is the same, they still want new ones just to get an update on what's going on.
They
Have-
send you a
have
letter
you
or
ever
something?
Heard the term "don't poke a sleeping bear"?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't hear from them,
Yeah.
don't just
Right.
leave it.
So could they get these new inspections and then raise your?
They can, yeah. They can
See?
raise you. They
Is it
can
more
cancel
likely?
you. They can tell you, hey, we're not going to do X until you fix Y. Right? Piping's a big one on that one.
Is it more likely that your rate would go up or down after an updated
4-point.
inspection, or does it?
Yeah.
It
Don't
just-
know. It depends on the
depends on-
underwriter. Depends on who you have. I can tell you this: the insurance person that you use matters. Meaning, if it's somebody who only has 5 companies to pull from, you're not going to get a good rate anywhere.
Right.
Doesn't
You're
matter if
talking
it's
about your insurance
home,
broker.
car, nothing. Yeah, your
your
insurance
broker.
officer you go through, right? The more they have, the
Better chance.
better things and opportunities that you have as well. You know, because there's a lot of factors that go into all that, and everything from where you live to zip code to the construction material age, all of that goes into those factors. So there's a ton of ways to structure things.
Well, you mentioned an underwriter. Is that just one person? Can you like get denied because one underwriter is having a bad day?
You can.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
There's nothing you can do, and it drives me crazy.
I tell people this, you know, shop around. Usually most realtors that we work with anyway, and the ones that are good and that are really out there working, they've established good relationships as well with insurance professionals, mortgage professionals. And then some of those mortgage professionals have another basket of insurance people. If you're buying a home, pull from who your realtor is and use who they tell you their people are that they use. There's a reason why they use them. If you don't have that, ask, you know, your friends and people like that. But you want to look for someone like, well, we're about to close out.
No, we're just going to break.
We'll pick this up in a minute.
It's a good song. All right, you guys, stay tuned because we are going to have more BaaD Radio coming up.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Welcome back, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Body Street of Winter Park. Experience the future of fitness at Body Street in Winter Park. Lose weight, build muscle, tone your body in only 20 minutes a week. Visit bodystreet.us. Well, that's it. I'm like, where's
Is
the
there
rest
more?
of it? No.
More
It
to
was supposed
come.
the rest of it is supposed to say when something meets efficiency.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I messed that one up.
The
All right.
end.
Body Street,
yeah.
have you heard of it before?
No.
All right. It's a place in Winter Park that is a 20-minute workout, and it uses something called EMS, electric muscle stimulation. So it's kind of like what do you call it, TANS unit or
TENS unit.
TENS unit?
Familiar with TENS unit.
Okay,
Yeah.
it feels like that all over your body.
So they
Walk out. One.
pretty much,
Exactly.
yeah. So they put you in what's almost like it feels like a wetsuit kind of thing, and they strap you in, and then you go through a series of poses in like a 20-minute period, and it's basically zapping you,
Mm-hmm.
for 4 seconds between intervals.
This sounds like how you get superpowers.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I know,
it?
right?
I go once a week. I'm always sore afterwards. I do actually really enjoy it because for me it gets those endorphins going, and so it's been really, really good. I feel good. Do I want to be thinner? Sure, but it's not a weight loss thing.
Mhm,
It's more of
muscle toning.
muscle toning and things of that nature.
Mhm.
But you should come be my guest sometime. I'd like to see how you do.
Be like Johnny Bravo. Hey.
It is an interesting experience.
I
though.
wonder if you would make more weird facial expressions than I did.
I don't know.
I went through
See,
the
I didn't get
video.
to see yours.
I sent you. I screen captured like a bunch of them. I'm like,
I wanna
this
see
isn't
that.
Good. This isn't good for promotion.
Well, I kind of like ambushed her a little bit. I didn't give her a heads up what was going to happen.
Slightly.
She just showed up with I'm like, you're going to film. She's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, and you're also going to do this workout with me. And afterwards, she kind of skedaddled. She was like, she grabbed her stuff and
I was scared for my
oh,
life.
bud.
I'm not working out now.
I'm like, I don't know if she's going to like me anymore.
I'm tired. My face is tired. Leave me
No,
alone.
just give me like weights and like normal sweat outside. I'll do that.
Yeah, they're a great company.
They
though.
are.
I
They
mean,
are.
Stefan is the owner, Stefan Brand, and he's a wonderful person.
They're both really nice. Did a really cool like walkthrough of everything. So
I used earlier versions. Yeah, that's better.
of what?
Of TENS units when I got ran over on the sidewalk. I know, silly me. I was on the sidewalk. Didn't see the car coming.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know, right?
I haven't heard this story, but we're not going to do it now. Sorry. We're going
Oh,
to talk
man.
about home
That's a good one.
inspections.
I want to know. how you
He's
got
like, I
ran
want,
over.
I want when you. I don't know.
Were you little? Let's just say
Oh,
that.
no, no.
You
I
were
was
an adult.
home from the army and working with my ex-boss for a little bit to make some extra cash, and got
Okay.
plowed by a car on Hunt Club. I was up on the sidewalk. That's what got me put out of the army.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness
Wow.
gracious.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're okay, and I'm
Yes.
glad that it gives us a reference so that you know what Body Street Body Street of Winter Park works now. So
Yeah.
Yep. I know what that feels like. What it feels like to get hit by a car, go up and over the car, and it's all that good fun stuff goes with it.
he always has good stories.
Uncle Sam wasn't happy with me, but they still love me.
Well, you've got some good candle operas.
Have you seen my candelabras? Thank you.
Did,
again.
is Goodwill sponsoring this episode?
They should. Oh my
I
gosh!
keep bringing him up.
If I could get Goodwill to sponsor, that'd be brilliant.
True.
Yeah, I still haven't told you guys where I got the wands, so
No, that's an
Yeah.
off air
I know you guys are
Exclusive.
I'm taking it to the grave.
exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
So as we put this train back on,
I
the
know.
tracks. So back to that. So really, the best thing to do with insurance is shop every year. Make sure that your broker agent has a decent pool of people to pull from, because there's always people that are petitioning to be able to write in the state of Florida, and there's new people coming on board, new companies all the time that are been approved to write in Florida.
Right.
They may not always have the right price or the price that you want, but that's where the right brokerage comes in handy.
Well, as a home inspector, how do you work directly with insurance companies ever, or do you normally get hired by the homeowner or the insurance broker?
Yes. So we can work in all three of those factions. Thank you. You as a homeowner, Melissa is say she's an insurance company, a big company. She wants us to go in and do an inspection for them. We can do that.
Okay.
But if I'm doing one for you, I'm not going to do one for her on your house.
Yeah, I can see where that'd be conflicting.
And then some of them do send an inspector behind us just to double check things. They're not as thorough. They just
Are you talking about the insurance company sends somebody behind you?
Yep. That happens sometimes, not always, but sometimes that happens. They'll come back and just double check like piping, or take a couple outside extra photos for them. Maybe they want stuff. There are things where an insurance company's called us and they've asked for things like rebar. How much rebar's in the house and how's it spaced? Well, one, I don't know that one because it's buried behind the block.
Right. I'm gonna say, how would you have any idea?
And two, that's not part of a 4-point. That's a structure question. So that was a thing for a while, but that particular company now has taken that out of their repertoire. So they're using the citizens form. Everybody uses the citizens form for that. That's the most recognized form and the most accepted form. So that's what we put together for people. And then if they need to update something, it's just a quick phone call. We go back, take a couple photos, update the report, and there you go.
Nice.
Okay, so updating. So that if you do an inspection and then the homeowner has told you need to do this and this, then once they do that, you'll go back and update the report to send back to the insurance company.
Let's use your house still.
Okay.
So you had Zinsco or FedPac that had to be changed out, right?
Is that my electrical
for your
box?
electrical box?
Yeah.
So once those were done, then we need an updated photo of the box with the lid open, the door open, but the cover on, dead front cover, and then a picture with the dead front cover off. And then we need to make sure that everything, no double taps, things like that. We take that, we update the report, send that back to the insurance company.
Did you do all that for me?
I think we did.
Yeah, I think so too. I used Impact Electric, so I know that they did a good job. I'm not worried about that. So do you refer other referral partners, electricians, plumbers?
I have no problem referring referral partners, tradespeople that I know do a good job and that I've gotten good feedback from.
And vice versa, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, because think about it. You asked me for an electrician's name, right? And I've got 3 good ones. It's better for me to give you those 3 good ones that I know are good based on experience in dealing with them versus just letting you go pick, Bob's Electrical out of the phone book and on this truck it's been written in those little letters you can buy from Home Depot and nothing's level, right?
Yeah.
We try to align ourselves with people so that you don't have to do that.
Yeah, I got somebody. Well, now that things are the way they are, people will reach out to me. So I had my friend reach out to me for a plumber, and I sent her to Drain Daddy.
Nice.
Who's your Drain Daddy?
Have you met Bradley?
No.
Bradley Withy with or something like that.
Only saw him in passing one time.
Was it at
Here.
Oh, did you guys on the same show?
Nope. I came by to drop something off, I think.
Oh, that's cool. No, he's great.
yeah.
I love the name, the Drain Daddy, too.
Yeah.
So you have the 4-point, the home inspections. And so you said you do work for the insurance company sometimes, but is it more primarily the homeowner?
Most of the time it's homeowners. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then we can also do a roof certification. If you have a house and the insurance company says, we don't need a 4-point, but we want to know how old the roof is.
Is that becoming
So we
more
can
and
do
more
that.
of a thing? Because it feels like roofs are kind of like in a weird place right now where
Roofs are our biggest issue in Florida. The issue I have with it, and this is just a Mike issue, so please, world, don't hold me to it, but this is Mike's opinion. Architectural shingle that most houses get nowadays, that outside the other fancy stuff, metal, tile, whatever, architectural shingles are rated and tested to last anywhere from 40 to 55 years, right? That's what the manufacturer puts on them. Now, we live in Florida, so we know how brutal our sun is, so you can cut that down a little bit. Well, the insurance industry, from what they tell us when they call our office, and this is how I know this stuff, I'm not just picking it out of the air world. I talk to the underwriters, I talk to these people and find out what's going on. They cut that down to 25 years, so almost half-life.
right.
And then out of that, depending on how many storms we've had and things like that, and they give you maybe 20 to 22 years, and they want you to replace the roof.
Right.
They were down to 10 years old. They wanted it replaced, which made no sense.
No.
You
I
want
mean,
to know
my-
why your insurance rates go up? Because they're letting roofs that shouldn't be replaced get replaced. That's one big reason.
Well, I
Not all
still
of them.
want to talk about roofs. So we have
Okay.
one more segment, so stay tuned for more
One
BaaD
more.
Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Welcome back, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. Do you know what your sprinkler system did last night? Probably not, so it's a good time to get your irrigation system serviced by Ground Up Property Service today. Be sure to ask Rick Hall with Ground Up about a water sensor, too, so your lawn doesn't get too much water. And don't forget about the lawn painting service. If you are planning an outdoor event and you want to hide those brown spots on the lawn, call 407-468-4295 or visit groundupinc.net. Okay, so we're here with Mike Hayman with Liberty Property Inspections, and we've been talking about wind mitigations, and we were talking about roofing because, like in the state of Florida, and you even mentioned that it is a state of Florida thing. So, because of our weather, so as far as you know, do other states not have as strict regulations on roofs as Florida does?
I know nothing about other states.
Okay.
So, no, I because there's enough that I need to know about here, but I don't know how they do things with roofs in regards to roofs because their weather patterns are totally different than what we have. And then you have things like roof overs, where in Florida you can shingle over an existing roof one layer, but doing that you severely decrease the life of that second layer. So typically you would see that if someone didn't have a lot of funds to be able to do a rip off and replace and then do a shingle over, that they would just shingle over what's existing there, and it saves a little bit of money for them. You don't see it a lot anymore, but you used to see it when 3-tab shingles, and those were the lower grade shingles. When they were around, it was just really easy and inexpensive to do. And so we find those every now and again, but not often.
Right. Well, that leads me to like certifications, because you did bring that up. You're like, there's enough to know about the state of Florida. So how do you guys keep up to date with codes and all the things?
Cross-eyed.
I can do that.
We're like, whoa. So we belong to InterNACHI, and InterNACHI provides an ongoing and continuous source of education for us. And
is that like a government-run agency or something?
No, it's the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. But that's who we get all of our education from. And now they're the leader in the education world as far as what we do. There are other places out there you can get continuing education from, things like that. They've been recognized and now are approved to provide college credit for some of their stuff as well. So if you really want to know what's going on in your area, that's who you should belong to if you're doing home inspections. So we belong to them here. And then they have what's called the House of Horror that they built originally in Colorado, where they're based out of. Then they built one here in Weston, which is a good excuse to go to South Florida. But there's every defect you could ever think of that would exist on a building they have.
So you have to go through and like do the inspection? So
they have all kinds of different inspection facets you can set up for that. They have different modes of training you can go set up for it, whether it's, you're a one-person shop, you're a multi-inspector firm like we are. You can do all of that.
That actually sounds kind of fun.
It's so cute. It's like a nerdy haunted house.
For real.
It is kind of, and there's some stuff that's not applicable to Florida too, though, because they put everything in there. So, boiler plates and floor radiated heat. We typically don't deal with that in our area. Now, closer to North Florida, you might, but not sure, because even their stuff's a little bit different from what we do.
Well, I know that I was going through something and I saw what the underside of a heated floor looks like. And I don't even know, do they make those anymore? You know what I'm talking about? A heated floor where they like actually have things that run underneath the flooring.
They still have that. That technology is always improving, and they still have those. I haven't run across one in person yet.
I've never seen. I never even knew one existed until like recently.
Well, Florida,
right?
We went to Colorado one time, and the place that we stayed, the Airbnb, was so nice. The bathroom had heated floors, like that was tile. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So like in a place like probably further north, you probably see them a lot more.
Yeah, no, I was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri in the wintertime. The closest thing we got to that was radiators across the floor edges that we would stick our boots and our toes over to try to warm up.
That's a very different vacation.
Yeah, for sure.
You're so lucky. Warm bathroom, what?
I don't do cold. I mean, I can tolerate cold. The older I get, the more I'm more tolerable to the cold and less to the heat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I still can't do cold.
That makes sense.
I mean, just a thing.
Yeah.
So what's been going? I mean, what else do you see in the future for Liberties? You've got somebody hired on, right? And what are some of your objectives this year?
So, real quick to close out the last part, you can see we spent a lot of time on 4 points and wind mids. If you need something, you can always call me at the office. Stand by for that number at the end of the show.
Stay tuned.
I'm looking to, like I said, I've got an interview that I got to set up for a young lady that's interested in becoming an inspector with us. So growing still, and then growing our mold assessment side.
Okay.
So we do have a mold assessment side, which is Liberty Environmental Services. Tina and I are both licensed mold assessors. Say that 3 times fast.
Don't ask me because I won't even get through it once.
And so what that basically means is in Florida, under the home inspection licensure, you can do air quality sampling up to a certain point and up to 10 square feet of mold sampling. With the assessor's license, though, we don't have those restrictions, and we can write protocol if you have a mold issue, and we come out, we inspect, and we find that there are issues there. Once the lab gives us the results back, we can draw a protocol for the mold remediation company.
Have you seen? Well, it was a year in September that Ian hit. Are you seeing an increase of mold issues based off of like the flooding that happened because of Ian?
We're getting delayed calls from people that are finding stuff as they move things, or you go to. Big thing in Florida, you go to change your bathroom or your kitchen, you're going to find bioorganic growth because you can't call it mold until it's tested.
Okay.
And that's behind the walls, but that's normal. You're going to find that.
The black mold is what everybody's scared of, right?
The black mold that has the most attention is Stachybotrys.
Is that
And
caused
it's a
from
black
moisture?
Yes.
Is all of it called? I meant mold from moisture, right?
So mold needs a good surface to grow on, and for food, it likes water.
Yeah.
So most of the molds that we find, like the most prominent we'll find is Aspergillus penicillium, which is
Penicillin?
Kind of. It's in the same family, but it's a water-based mold, right? And it deals with the higher humidity level you have, or the more moisture you have, that higher that number is going to be.
So do you see that as primarily the issue? Like the biggest problems is due to moisture in a home?
Where we find that the most is when, and the calls that we get the most is not so much from a water loss. It's the molds that start growing on the growth on their windows and things like that, and because they're keeping the AC super cold and it's hot as the day is long outside, and somebody's leaving the door open or open the windows, and over time that's what'll happen. And so that environment can be corrected most of the time by adjusting what your air conditioning unit's doing, how cold it's kept. You might need a dehumidifier, but you'd want to call an AC company, have them come out, make sure they clean, sanitize, the coil in the unit. If you've got stuff that needs to be wiped up, you call somebody like us or like a remediation company to come in, do the assessment, do a wipe down. Some stuff's more intrusive.
Can you clean up mold without having to dig it all out and replace it?
If it's on the surface, yeah.
Okay. Well, isn't it always on the surface? I meant, like, what do you mean?
So drywall, if you got drywall gets wet and it stays wet, you're going to have it on the surface, but you're going to have it behind the paper.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just remember, like, for the wild, like, the mold thing was the big, people, like, talked about it all the time. They ripped up floorboards. You would hear people of all these health issues. But there's other types of mold that...
There's a whole bunch. That's why you have to take your samples and they submit them to EMSLs, who we use. Hi, Amy. And they're here local lab, usually 24 hours, 48-hour turnaround based on what's there and based on what we find, what's the cause and things like that. That depends on what kind of protocol gets written, and the protocol then directs the remediation company to do what they need to do.
Well, we're wrapping up this hour, so
Has it
go
been
ahead.
an hour
Yeah,
already?
it has. So we have about 30 or about 45 seconds. So give all your contact information.
I'm not going to talk that fast. So we can be reached at Liberty Property Inspections FL@gmail.com. Liberty Property Inspections FL@gmail. 407-739-5795 is our phone number. Danielle is working the phones and the email. The easiest way is through email. And you can also reach us at Liberty Environmental Services at the same.
All right. Thank you. All right. You got time.
All right. And you can find me at melissa@strikingbrand.com, or my website is strikingbrand.com.
All right. So you guys stay tuned because we have another full hour of BaaD Radio coming up.
What?